In addition to that, I have already said that you have to include the name, you have to show the owner, you have to show the key members if necessary. That is your team for management. If necessary, that they need to know, because you are trying to establish your credibility and build the trust in your what? In your consumers. That is just the first part of your what? Your business. So it gives you the opportunity to be excited. And if you're not excited about it, people will read it through there, because you'll be talking of history, you'll be talking of what they are doing, but we don't see you there. And if people don't get to connect with you, it may be very, very difficult to attract them or entice them to support your cause, or even to buy your products. You can now tell the excitement which goes on. We have the Kabaka Foundation, and now since they started the project of Kabaka Run, the excitement they bring in and how much it is mobilizing the resources and mobilizing the public, people generally funding and contributing and wanting to do it for the cause, not because there could be no other ways of solving the problem. There are many different ways of solving the problem, but the way they have presented it to the public, it brings some excitement and meaning for enticing people to feel associated and to support the cause. That's what is required when you are describing what? You are describing your business or your idea. You have to relate to the value. What value is it bringing to the consumers or the customers? What problem you are trying to solve, and why is it important that we need to support you or to buy your products or goods and services? Okay, so basically that is a brief description in relation to the business what? The business, the business description. That is a brief summary of what it entails. Then, when you are talking about the business description, also, you briefly have to identify to make sure that people are able to tell what form of business you are going to establish, or what form of business you are operating. In relation to the structure of the business, we are relating, or we are referring to the way how the organization or the firm will be directed, will be governed, will be managed. That is the structure. You may be very familiar with these forms of structure where they talk about a sole proprietorship, a partnership, a limited liability company, or any other form of structure. So that is very, very important, because you cannot operate a business when it is not according to the governing rules of how businesses should be. It has to be licensed. It has to be registered. So how are you going to register, or how are you going to operate your business? This is very, very important for you to know upfront. And by knowing upfront, if it is going to be a sole proprietor, you have to have the understanding of why you choose that nature or structure of operation. What are the benefits? What are the limitations? Such that when people get to read and know that it is a sole proprietor, which is a one-man business, they don't need to buy shares. They don't need even to seek investment into your business. They only need to find whether to volunteer or to be consumers. But when you choose to be a partnership, you have also to be very, very clear. Whom are you going to put into line in regards to the management or operation of your business? So that you're not just going to say it is a partnership. What is the size of your business that you are operating? Who are those key people? What is the skills that are required to make sure that your business is going to farm or is going to strongly run when you have A and B in management? How are decisions going to be made? That is very, very key. When you're looking at the limited, you have to bring this briefly, because there is a section of its own which has to talk about the legal form of the business. But briefly, this is very important. If it is a limited liability company, what does that entail? It's also important, so that when people ask or when people read it up front in the first section, either they get excited to know that you may not necessarily bring in all junk or everybody, but you are focused on who is being to be involved into the governance, into the operation of your business. That's what this means when we are talking about the nature of the structure of what? Of operation, okay? They're giving us an example of a description which you can look at. It does not really go far deep, but it just tells you by looking at it. For example, they're telling us Jones Enterprise aims to grow local brand awareness by 20% and forge partnership with 4 additional local suppliers in the next year. The company also intends to expand operations to an additional location in the central region and is seeking an investment of $200 million in exchange for equity in the company. So when you look at this example of Jones Enterprise, what form of business is it? I'm trying to talk about the structure. What structure is it? Hello.
I think
it is what?
It's a limited liability company.
It's a limited liability company. Why do you have to say it is a limited liability company?
And my reasoning is it is seeking an investment, like for someone to be part of, to have equity in that company. They require an investment of like 200 million. That is why. So your investment in it can be 200 million, and then it has its own directors and people who run the company at the same time, not necessarily the owners. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So based on your reasoning, I think I agree that it is looking for ways to expand and grow business, and the focus is on the limited. And that limitation is going to be getting partners into that who can buy into shares and be able to expand the business. So that way, it puts it into perspective that the business has a focus and a vision to grow, to be able to succeed. So you have also to think through that as you start your own what? Venture.
Yes, Doctor, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Let's go back to the previous slide. Now here it says that Jones Enterprise is to grow local brand awareness by 20%. Now my question is, how do we ascertain that awareness of 20%, and how are we able to the brand awareness in this case? Thank you.
Okay, so how would you go to ascertain the 20%? Based on your research, if you have really researched your idea or your business product or service which you're going to establish clearly, for instance, it's new, and you realize that you have the market that you are very, very clearly now talking about market share. For example, if you have started for that one who is in the medical sector, you realize that that is a service which is needed by everybody. And in order for your business, which is in a medical center, to be able to make revenue, you need to attract enough customers. You need to increase awareness to the public. So when you're talking about to grow local brand awareness by 20%, you are projecting which locations or which geographical areas or which target customers or public you are trying to bring into your awareness. For example, if you have based it into Mukono, where are the consumers or the customers going to come from? How are they going to know about your product? Are you going to reach out on mobile kind of adverts? Are you going to send out emails? Are you going to do social media? Are you going to use radio? Are you going to use television? So in perspective, everything said depends on the mode of advert or publication that you do, is how you project that it is going to be effective and successful to lead you to the results or the goal that you have set. But if you are not very clear about your market, you may end up trying to attract or publicize or advert to everybody, not knowing even clear whom are you targeting. If it is the nature of the school, you have started an education institution, you need to be very, very clear. Whom are you targeting? And then you set strategies that are going to help you to make the message reach out, because by reaching out to so many people, then it will help you to attract at least the maximum number of candidates that you need to enroll to make your business take off. That's what it means. You have to do your research, you have to have better strategies, and you have to make sure that you implement it very, very clearly, and then you are able to measure. So that if you don't set a matrix, 20%, then how will you know that you are even performing, that you are achieving your goals? You have to set measurable, realistic metrics, a yardstick. And that's why if you put 20%, you have to go further. If you put 5%, you have to be on average by doing ABCD. Does that answer your question? Yes, no? Oh, I'm talking to myself.
Yes, it does. It does.
So basically, don't just talk generally. We'll do this. No, you have to measure. So that motivates, it's that drives everybody to know, we have to make a revenue, we have to increase the sales by 10%. The production manager will focus on the 20%. The sales manager will focus on the 20%. The operation manager will have the 20%, so that whatever objectives they have, whatever strategies they are using, whatever approach they take, it is all driven and directed to the goal. Thank you. Let me first put my things into the power, because we are now on God's mercy, as you know. So basically, that's what it is, and I'm glad you're following. So they're telling us here, this is another example. Johannes understands that its customers are health conscious, but have busy lives with little time for preparing healthy meals. Why does he have to think about all those areas? And if so, the key here is trying to put into perspective, whom is he looking for here to target in relation to his business? And the question is, what is his target customers? They're saying he understands what the customers want. They want health conscious, they are health conscious, but they are busy. They have no time to prepare meals. So can you tell the nature of these customers when you are analyzing them? Someone. Is he looking for students?
He's looking for the working
How would you
class.
analyze this? Yes, Francis.
He's looking for the working class that is almost kept in office without any time of preparing meals for themselves.
Working class, that is one element. What other factor would you put into perspective? You have put in time, this is key. What other factor do we have to put in perspective?
Health conscious customers.
Healthy.
Like yes.
Thank you. Any other factor?
Yes, sister, I think we are also looking at the middle-aged, all the people that are in corporate class, but they have a little bit aged, like 40, 50 and above, who have started getting pressure, diabetes. So they have to be healthy conscious, but they don't have time to prepare the health meals they need.
Excellent. The age is key in determining whom are you are targeting here. Much as they are busy, but their age demands something which is healthy. Thank you very much. Any other factor we have to consider here?
I think also location, because if these are people who are working, then it has to be maybe in an urban area where there are lots of people who are working.
Okay, thank you very much. Their convenience, their location is very key so that you are able to access and provide the services that they need. Thank you very much. Can we hear from chairs? Abba. Unmute, please.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, thank you, sister. I think also the category can, for example, the student, let me give an example, like the setting of the UMU, where at Nkozi, it's a bit strategic in a bit distance from the main road. So I think in this kind of setting, for example, also it can also cater for the student who are especially who are busy, who don't have time, especially those who are not enclosed within the university, those who are staying outside the hostel of the university. It can also cater for that category of the target group. Thank you.
Thank you. That is Charles has brought in another perspective. We had the middle class. Now we have the students. So when you compare the middle class and the students, what do you have to put into perspective if this is a kind of service that you are trying to provide in relation to the products and the service? They all need healthy food. What?
Pricing the product that caters for both groups.
Excellent. Excellent. That is very, very, very key. Because when we are dealing with the product, think of those 4 P's or 5 P's. The price is a determining factor. Students may be wanting this, but they may be sensitive to the price that you set. It is so good, it is classic, and it is so rich, but are they willing to pocket out maybe for dish of 20,000? Just saying. Or 10,000 a day, just saying. So this is very, very important. Everything is said here is okay. LSA is okay. Time would be good. Location would be good. Age would, but the price is key in determining also your target customers or your target market. Because if you are not very clear how much they are willing to pay, you may end up not even achieving your goal. That's why When you have the two different groups of people, you have to know how best can you set the prices to make sure that you are able to make money or achieve your goals and objectives. Thank you very much. You have really all got 10 out of 10 on this, okay? So what is this is telling us, when you are looking at your business, in the description, you have to be very, very, very clear about your target market or target customers. And when you are doing that, you have to explain who you are planning to sell to and why they buy your product or services. Mr. Kasozi, what is your business about?
Sister, I'm doing a business about developing an app that is targeting people who need technical services but find it hard to locate them. Taking an example, if my car got an issue, possibly when I've parked at how do I cite the nearby garage? Or if I relocate possibly to a new place, like in Ngozi, how do I cite a plumber? So I'm looking at developing an app that will give a platform for people who need those technical services. So we shall be reaching up to those garages, operating them, and then looking at setting standards. So if we have a good standard, that people will use this app to access those professional and technical services, and then even rank them and give feedback so that we keep quality of using that app. That's what I'm trying to look at. And I've been
May I ask a question?
I'm interviewing. Yes.
Mr. Kasozi, you are talking about garages. And in my mind, I'm looking at the garages where they do fix cars. Is that so?
Yes, sister.
All right. If you're looking at those garages where they're fixing and you assume that those people also need the app, how did you come to choose them? What is their problem?
The problem is that people who drive, for example, I'll give an example of people who drive. You'll find we don't have, we are not consistent with our mechanics. We find challenges with them. They are not trustable. You'll give them the car and end up getting issues. Possibly they don't deliver very good services. They are not customer oriented. Even when you run away and go to the other one, they will not mind about it. I'm looking at a gap where people find it hard sometimes to find and locate those services. For example, if you need a plumber, you will have to possibly call your neighbor or a friend. Which plumber do you use?
Just
Which
a
electrician
minute.
do you use?
Just a minute.
Yes.
I understand you have a good idea. But where I'm getting confused, you are creating this app to solve problem solve for mechanics or for car vendors. Because why I'm trying to ask this, how many garages are going to have the app, or how many cars, or you are stationed it to one garage, such that all those who have been going to that garage, let's say, for example, there is that garage of JBK garage in Chibuye, and you are going to start with them so that whoever goes there and they want to keep with those mechanics, they can use that app as a mechanism to connect to their mechanics at any time when there is an issue. Is that the approach you are taking, or you are taking an approach for whoever wants, would use that app? I want to be very clear about your mission.
I want this app to be open, that because the company will be marketing and enticing people to use the app, that on that app, we shall have different garages in different locations. So we are looking at having very many garages in different areas that can give quality services so that someone in Chira can use the app to
Stop
find
there. I got it. Stop there.
Yes.
You have it. Thank you. So in other words, we are trying to provide an application which people can use when they're looking for garages countrywide,
Exactly.
which provide different services. Thank you. All right.
Exactly.
So what we are trying to see here, you need to understand your target market, and for Kasozi's Pro application, he realized that it is very difficult to connect with our businesses or our companies, but putting up an application, it gives the entire country opportunity like a GPS to get wherever you want to be able to solve the problem that you solve. So it is very, very key in your app. You have the features which will have different answers or different guidelines that will make it effective for implementation, okay? That is very, very key. And I hope you have researched the needs and the motivation as to why you think consumers would be able to buy that. That is very, very key. When you are looking at the target market, as we have been analyzing Johan's business, the age group is very important. The income is very important. Interest is very key to make sure that whatever you do is going to give you a competitive edge and attract your customers. What do we mean by competitive edge? What does that mean in this aspect? Competitive edge.
Hello, sister.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a competitive edge.
Is that Kasozi?
Yes, sister.
Okay.
Is a special thing that a company does that is not done by another company doing the same business, all dealing in the same industry, which gives a special advantage over the competitors.
Okay. So can we hear from Mr. Abdu Victor, please? Is this Victor? Victor, are you there? Is Victor present? He's absent. Sir Abonyo. This is a white take attendance, just you know.
Yes, sister, I'm present.
What is your business about?
I'm into the hospitality business. I'm trying to do hotel management.
Is that your project for this class? What is your
yes, for the class.
So what business have you created?
So I'm looking forward to venturing into the hotel business. So I'll start a business in Moroto in a location that I already have a place in. I have land in. So what I want to do, start this business, and I'll be doing things, providing activities like accommodation, recreational activities within the hotel, and then something like also bar, and then outside catering within the hotel. I decided to do this because I see within the region there are many hotels, but sometimes when you assess them, you see that the quality is sometimes not so good. So I would be trying to improve on some of those areas, as in maybe
can you also in a minute, can you just tell us what is your competitive advantage or competitive edge?
Okay, so what I see is not much ventured into is technology. As in, I want to, if at all that hotel is put, I would ensure that technology is used. Things like booking online by the travelers who will come in, NGO. So we'll use much of the technology to do the bookings.
Thank you.
To engage the, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Aliko, are you present? Aliko is present or sleeping? Alfred. Opoya, not Alfred, actually. Alred. I think, I don't know even how to say this name. Opoya. Are you present? Opoya? Logged on and went to bed. That's okay. Manzi, Albert.
I'm present.
Yes, sister.
Let's first hear from Opoya and then we'll come to you. I need to hear about your business idea and what your competitive edge is.
You want Opoya to first talk or me?
Okay.
So my business idea, I'm going to look out environmental conservation in a way that I am bringing something new in terms of energy, fuel energy for cooking, that is making of briquettes. So in that, I'm trying to reduce on the aspect of tree cutting for making charcoal, for burning charcoal. And in the long run, I'll be conserving the environment as I'll be promoting tree planting other than tree cutting.
Don't you think there are more than enough crickets we have?
I'm based in northern Uganda, where this charcoal burning is like a real business to the society. So I want to use this to engage them on also alternative means of fuel other than just charcoal.
Can we know how you are going to make them change their behavior? Because that is consumer. How are you going to make those who are in that investment change and get into the new venture that you're starting?
One is that we shall have to do massive sensitization. One, to create awareness on the effect of tree cutting on the society we are living in. And with the global warming that we have been talking about and the change in the weather patterns, it would be good that we look at alternative sources that will again make something sustainable. And in the long run, if we cut all the trees and they are depleted, we shall have to check out for alternative means, which
Thank you.
Is something, yeah.
Can you hear from Manzi, please?
The business I'm interested in, it is the one of using how do you call it, electrical motorcycles instead of using what are they called, fossil fuel motorcycles, like the way we see the Bajajes using petrol. Instead of having to use petrol for energy, we use electricity that is stored in batteries.
What makes you the best investor? Can we hear? What makes you qualify to be the best investor in that business?
What qualifies? What qualifies me to be the best investor? That is a very good question. Only that I just know what qualifies me to be a competitive investor.
That's what I'm asking. What gives you a competitive edge? That is the question.
Hey, okay, now what will give me a competitive edge is the cheapness of having to charge your own motorcycle from your own domestic place where you even stay, instead of having to go to a fuel pump to charge your motorcycle.
Manzi.
Yes.
Are you in the motorcycle business?
I want to go there.
What do you do for life?
That is what I want to set up.
What makes you really the right person to do that business?
Because I understand the energy consumption versus energy consumption versus production, energy production matrix in a way. I do a bit of engineering. I know a bit about power engineering.
In other words, you're saying you have the skill.
I have a skill.
That's all. So you're bringing the new technology of how to do based on the skill that makes you comfortable to design the way how motorcycles can be run, not so?
Yes.
Please make sure that you bring that up clear, because that is the key. What makes you the right person to do that business is very, very important. Okay. Thank you. You can stop there.
Thank you.
Nicholas. Are you there? Do we have one Nicholas or many? I think we have one.
One.
Thank you. What are you doing for business?
I'm looking at bakery. In that I'm.
Are you the one doing the? Are you the one doing the Entake bread?
No. I'm just going. Okay, I want to go into bakery. I haven't started. I just have an idea.
But don't you think we have so much bread on the streets?
Yes, but
then
there are
why do
some
you need your
nutrients.
bread now?
There are some nutrients which are missing. For example, we have very many jackfruits. So if I remove all the seeds or remove seeds of jackfruits and make the powder, and that powder I use it in making bread or mandazi, in that that flour, okay, that seed from the jackfruit,
just there. Okay, so what is going to give you a competitive advantage?
My competitive advantage will be that I am healthy. It will be a new product in our community or in our society, because I haven't seen the bread made of with jackfruit seed powder or flour.
Good for you. Stop there.
Because I'm targeting to.
Just stop there. Don't even go further. Yes. Don't water your business secrets, okay? You got it. You said that you have not seen, there is a lot of bread on the market, but what is lacking is the fruit bread. And much as the fruits are there, it's not the type or the nature of the fruits that you are going to be using to make bread. Because there could be banana bread, there could be cassava bread, there could be what bread, and that's what you're bringing in the market. So that is what your competitive edge is all about. What makes you unique? What makes your business special? Okay, thank you. All right, so I think for now I'm going to stop with those ones. For others, make sure that as you discuss, let me know what you are doing. And for those who have already hinted your ideas, others, please don't steal their ideas. I don't expect to see 2 crickets. I don't expect to see 2 applications. And if you have 2 applications, I will be considering Kasozi's application as to compare to what others are doing. So don't steal the idea. That is intellectual property. So work hard to be first to say your idea, or not to say, then you leave it to the judge. Thank you. All right, so we have talked about the competitive edge. That is what will make you unique. What differentiates you in relation to what you have found into the business world as lacking. Unlike, this is another example, unlike its competitors, the restaurant alleviates the target audience's pain points by providing quick and easy meals that are also healthy for the entire family. We are talking about Johan's. So when you look at Johan's, unlike its competitors into the restaurant, what is his competitive advantage? Bernard. Yes, Nsubuga.
Yes, sister.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Oh, so Bernard, now you're talking. Then Nsubuga, wait. Okay, yes, Bernard.
Yes. I'm on, sister.
Let's hear from Bernard first, okay? Bernard, what are you saying?
I wanted to say, sister, I'm also, I think I have a supplementary paper which I'm supposed to do. I wanted to get guidance from you if I'm going to do again a business plan with the rest of the team members in the day of presentation.
You know what the supplementary is? I wish you called me outside this classroom. You don't want to put your dirt in the public, you know?
I know.
Basically, what it is, if it is doing that paper again. So if the paper requires you to do the business plan, if it is the final assessment, it is what you are supposed to do. And if it is a supplementary, I think it is important you look at what you did last time. Why did you fail to meet the required pass mark so that you don't get into the same mistake? So use this as a way of getting 80 or 90 because you have already done the class, okay? And you can help others to know what it means to get a supplementary. So you have to do the business plan and you have to do everything required for this class, okay? Not the coursework though, because you have the coursework, but you have to present a business plan, okay? That means the project. Thank you very much. So what business are you going to do this time?
This time I'm going to do milk production.
Maize production, okay. I will not ask you that. What?
Milk production. Milk production.
There is a lot of diary going on here. Why milk?
Okay, I can change. I'm going to
you have not even decided. Well, what you need to know here, what is who needs milk, why milk, and what gives you this a competitive advantage that you can, if you can change, it is up to you to change, but you have to research because those questions are the questions we ask when you're looking at your what? At your plan. And when you're presenting, they are the very questions they will ask you. And if you are not able to defend your case, you stand to say, really? So can we go to Nsubuga, please?
Good morning. The competitive advantage for this restaurant is cooking easy and healthy meals for like the entire family. Instead of one cooking like matoke for the whole day, one can do like a salad. It's a quick fix and they can go and do like maybe if someone works, you can fix a salad and you go to work, or like fruits.
Thank you. You have identified the uniqueness, and the uniqueness in this business settles by providing the quick service. Is the meals, you can say fast meals, and they are healthy. That is what differentiates the Johan's business as compared to other restaurants. So, sir, Florence, what is your business about?
My business is about, I'm going to do a preschool, which will in future, it will also extend as a junior school that is primary. I want to do both national, like a mix of national and international that is not provided in areas of Chitezi. Basically, it's going to be like a hybrid.
So what gives you the, what makes you unique?
What makes me unique? Like I'm going to offer the hybrid. It's going to be blended.
Stop there. Make sure when you are tailoring your write-up, you bring out it very clearly, because that's what brings your product or service features or attributes, okay? If you just say pre-na international, whatever, it doesn't tell us much. But the features, this is a hybrid, then go and tailor what hybrid means so that we are able to relate and understand it very clearly and state that it is nowhere. Thank you very much. So we have been talking about uniqueness. We have been talking about competitive edge or competitive advantage. And that is what makes your business unique from your competitors. When you're looking at competitors for Florence, she's in education as a sector. she's in education which is lower or elementary, and she has analyzed all the different schools which are around there and realized that she needs that which is a hybrid, both local and international, and is nowhere in the locality that's where she's based. Mr. Nkong, Ronald.
Yes, good afternoon, sister.
Good afternoon.
Yes, now this one, this is a concern. At the same time, I may also need your input about this. When you talked about the competitive advantage of about the other issue of the restaurant. You see, there is last time I was listening to the radio, and then there is a certain restaurant there in town. They captured the directors, I think the two ladies, and then they are taken to CPS. A client went there to have something to eat. But in so doing, when he requested for meat, the client found some human parts in the soup that was meat. And then we had the police officer saying that we examined the parts, and then we were waiting for the people to tell us, those who are experts in examining the parts, to tell us that this is really human parts which we have found in the meat. Now, don't you think that, as we are saying that people are looking at the competitive advantage over the others, don't you think that is really force those people to come into that such innovation? I submit.
Ronald. And you're considering that as a competitive advantage?
Yes, because when I came to read about it, and then when you hear this, I think it was Enanga. He was also briefing the nation about the same issue, and then they say that we shall give the country what we have found out, and then we see. So I'm saying that people are looking at ways how they are looking to be unique, competitive, and then they have a need from which is different from the others. But I was a bit skeptical, and then I was saying that that is how Uganda has gone. I wonder. I submit.
Plus, what do you think? If I submit my additional that, what do you think about that?
Sister, if I may come in.
Go ahead.
I think competitive advantage should be legal. For the case of Ronald, human parts, I don't see them being a competitive advantage. I submit.
Thank you. Any other? Rita? And then Pamela.
I think also as we think of the competitive advantage, we need to look at the community and their perception towards what you're going to bring up. Because like I can give an example, you cannot start a pork business where there are Muslims. Really, you know it will not work. So, maybe like putting human parts in food, like here in Central, just know in Uganda, maybe, I can give an example of a Central, just know it will not work. It will just make news rather than putting you on top. Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you. Those, okay, yes.
Yes, hello, yes, good afternoon, sister, and thank you so much for everything that you're teaching us. I'm also, my contribution is, much as we are looking at being competitive, that competitive edge over your other members that are in the society, and we need also to be very ethical in the way we do things. We do not have to go through dubious things in order to maybe attract clients, because eventually people who are unethical will eventually be exposed, or your business will collapse for being very unethical. I submit, sister.
Thank you, JB. John Bosco. John Bosco, are you lost? We don't see you. We don't hear you.
Should I add something?
No, I wanted to hear from him first, okay? Then you come in. Okay, go ahead. Seems John Bosco's hand is up, but his microphone is off. Go ahead.
Okay. Now you see, sister, there is a certain
what?
place.
You're not clear. You are breaking.
Yes, the place is called Ngenge. There is a restaurant there. I was going to that side of Moroto, and then I passed that side in that road. We were living along this road, going to Kapchora, and then I took over to Ngenge. I reached Kapchora, Nakapiripita, and then I go to Moroto. So we found that the rivers crossed. Water was not moving, and then these trucks, it's a center there is a very big restaurant. And now these people who are driving limestone from that area of Karamoja, taking it to Toronto, they normally sit there and then they stop there to have breakfast, neither lunch, name it. So that was my first time. When I reached there, and then we reached a bit late in the night, and then we wanted to proceed to Nakpipit, but the water has broken, the river has flooded, and then the road was blocked. So they told us, we went out, got some food, even some rooms for sleeping over there. So after eating, they told us the rules for this area: if you are to sleep here, you don't have to sleep alone. After eating food, you have to get a room which is already there. You pay for it, but you don't have to sleep alone. So is also that a competitive advantage to that restaurant?
All right. I think you have so many examples, and you happen to get into funny places. You have to be careful. But the point here, when we are talking about competitive advantage, first of all, you have to understand the business has to operate according to the acceptable standards of the business operations. It should not be out of the norm. It has to be morally acceptable by the society and by legal regulations in order how it operates. Because you realize that if they had the piece of the meat of the person into, which we may not discuss because it has not yet proved, it has not come out, but we are just using it as an example. It is not morally acceptable or legally that we should eat human, apart from living things, animals, and everything, but not human lives or human peoples as meat. It is not acceptable. That's when even you realize that where those people who are considered as night dancers, so to say, it is immorally not acceptable. And if they are caught, then also it violates the what? The rules, the regulations of the business. Akero, please mute. So this aspect, when you are talking of the competitive advantage, make sure that the business is operating according to the legal regulations. Make sure that it is accepted by the community. And when we mean the community, the society, it may be a certain sector, and you say for us in our tribe, for us, but it is not generally acceptable. So keep it to your sector or your smaller element, but don't bring it to the entire community because it is not regulatory acceptable. Is it ethical? Is it right? Then it cannot be a competitive advantage if it is not right, if it is not ethical. You have to argue it into that perspective. Much as you're trying to make money out of it, but it's not right. And if it is not right, then you should not continue doing that. Socially, you are not socially responsible to the community because you should do something which is socially acceptable to add value to the community, to support or to protect. But if it's the other way, that's where when we are talking about demographics, we are talking about the market, the target market. There are factors that you have to put into perspective. And the demographic is very, very key, whereby you have to think of the region, you have to think of the education, you have to think of the class. The class means the society in relation to what goes in the class. How do people perceive it in relation to that business? Because you may think like putting a human being or putting people to sleep is generally accepted, but it violates. We are not here for that business, much as we have started it for that people who want to do the prostitution or whatever. Let those who do it, but don't force everybody into that. So it means the way you branded your business is misguiding the public. It is not communicating the right services or products that you're selling. You're selling something illegally acceptable. Because if you say it is a motel, you say it is a hotel, you say it is a guest house, and that way inside what is done is not acceptable, then it should be illegal. That's what you need to understand. Because if meat of a human person is generally acceptable, who should come in and persecute you? If the meat of the dog is generally acceptable, who should come and persecute the restaurant? But because the society does not necessarily accept that, it's not a universal that everybody should eat dogs. It's not generally acceptable that in Uganda we eat human beings. No. If you go to China and they eat dogs, well, if you go to Rome, eat what they eat. But if you are not acceptable there, don't take it as a universal what? A universal law. So this is where, when you're thinking of a competitive advantage, consider what is generally acceptable in the sector of operation. In the hotel or hospitality management, what is generally acceptable should be the practice or the standard of operation. If you're dealing in the food, which is a restaurant industry, make sure what is generally acceptable, so that whatever you're providing is informative and is according to what people expect to find there. If it is something unique, for example, not everybody eats pork, and you have a restaurant where you're providing pork, pork should be put at a separate corner so that it does not violate by the values of the people who come in, thinking that it is a general restaurant. So I hope, Ronald, you'll be able to get this right. Don't just take, this will make me unique, because the impression it gives out may be a disadvantage to your reputation, to your sustainability. And that's where for the business, it has to operate according to the acceptable normal standards of business excellence. Okay, so I will not go further, but you need to understand this so that you can be able to know what will make your business unique from your competitors. You have to make sure that you have a unique value, a unique attribute, a unique structure, a unique service. Leaders need to understand why your company will succeed and make you a front runner in the market. Okay? So I thank you for those of you who have brought out the clear understanding of a competitive, because this is what is key. Is it legally acceptable? Is it ethical? Is it moral? Is it right? Or you're just taking advantage and manipulating the system to make money out of the people and making things that they are not. It's like when you have people who are selling calorie and they think they're selling what? They're selling chicken. That's not acceptable.
Sister.
Yes, please.
I have something to put across.
Go ahead.
In regards to competitive advantage, especially in the restaurant business, I need your take on the issue of it's a common practice. It's just coming up, I think, in the main restaurants around Kampala, where most of them have started, if I can put it in a layman's language, Rusania, whereby they put many kinds of food stuff and people share. For example, I think there's a restaurant owned by Miss Atsemakula, it's called Papa's. They do it. There's one in Mengo, they do it. So I feel it's also a competitive advantage. Most of the restaurants are doing to outcompete the original way of serving. You find that you get a Rusania whereby they put rice, they put matoke, they put goat's meat, they put all the kinds of food stuffs. So I think, in my own view, it's also a way of outcompeting your previous
especially after making a thorough research on the market environment available. Thank you. I need your take on that.
I'll contribute. Rita is coming in. Take also what Rita is coming in, then I'll be here shortly, okay? Rita, go ahead.
Mine, is just a question. There are some people who start up their businesses. Let me give an example of maybe musicians, and then they put themselves in a state where they can attract community sympathy. So I really wanted to know, is that also competitive advantage or something else? Like someone goes maybe to a club, is beaten, so that it sounds in the news, then after a while, presents a show so that people can go for that show. Or like someone maybe streams over like naked, and then people see such pictures. Then after you realize this person is creating a show somewhere, and then people go for that show as sympathy, as a vote of sympathy. Is that also competitive advantage or something else? Thank you.
I'm going to put it back to the class to help us understand, why do people have to use the lasagna? And why would you go for the lasagna as compared to separate dishes? Please.
From this class, you're going to buy us one lasagna. Now, me, my take on this thing is... Me, my take on this thing is, as we are saying that we are trying to find out the competitive advantage, it's also one of the ways these people, they are also trying to gain more money from us. Because now when you got like that, there is also this lady here at Zauja, Mango Hill Road. They used to, by then, they put the whole chicken, they put rice here, beans, matoke, everything as you have mentioned. And then by the time they charge you 60,000, that lasagna, and then can be eaten by almost 3 to 4 people. So I think it's one of the ways also they are trying to extract money from us, because they are saying that we are putting a lot of food over there, so you need to give us more money. Then the other stuff you may look at, some people may say that these days you find that there is people they are selling, they are saying they use this, they're saying that me, I'm cooking boiled, I don't fly. Because they have come to learn that people, they have a lot complaining about ulcers, stomach is paining them. So when people get to know that you are boiling your food, just putting in cooking oil, you just cook it naturally and then make it to be more tasty. You get more people to come over on board, and then you buy it. And then at times you find that that food which is naturally boiled, it is more expensive compared to this food which we eat with a lot of cooking oil. I submit.
Thank you. John Bosco. Then Bosco has an issue with the microphone. His hand comes, but he doesn't talk. So going back to the that kind of serving. When you think about the serving, when they put so much on the table, on the plate, as compared to when they give you a separate dish of plate and a separate soup and a separate fruit salad and everything, it is a competitive advantage, I have to say that. Because if they serve it in that way, for them, they try to tell customers, they are creating an impression that they are giving you more for your value. It's cost for your value, worth your money. You can test each and everything at one cost. Yeah, if you go for pork, you get this different price. If you go for chicken, you get a different price. Yet you get for fruits, you get a vegetables, you go for different price. But for this one, they use this as a niche, actually as a niche to attract customers and impress them that they are eating, they are having everything. You have it all for one price, and you can have it as you want. So it doesn't cost much, but in one way or the other, how do they make money? They are going to make more sales, because many people will feel like they are eating so much, yet they are not eating so much, but they are getting more people who will go for that as compared who will take the different the different dishes at different prices. Rita, I see your hand.
I just wanted also to submit, it can also be advantageous to individuals. Like maybe you realize, I can give an example of myself. There is a time I wanted to eat somewhere food, but I realized the place was too expensive for me. So we gathered as a team and we collected some money. Then we went and said, let's buy Lusania. So we managed to raise the money and we ate. And my small money, I was able to achieve what I wanted. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So in that perspective, it can be very attractive. It can appeal to different customer taste preferences. And as you have realized that it can be costly or not costly, efficient when you are trying to attract the customers, because the competition is so tight. But how do you get the customers to look or to buy your product is by being unique. And that is one way people have come up with. Others may come up with when they put different prices or they put special dishes. That can help the company to increase sales. That can help the company to attract new customers. It can also help the business to retain loyal customers. It can help the company to make a profit. So it has more advantage because on how the consumers perceive the services that you are providing to them. For them, they may think they're spending cheap, yet they are not spending cheap, or they may spend, they're luxury, they're having everybody eat together. That could be also a value. We want to all feel like we are home. We are sharing from the same table. So it is how do you perceive, how do you look at your customers and what do they really want is how you are going to design it. But that is a unique and it is a differentiation. And you may find that not every business or restaurant can provide those kinds of services, because if you are selling this traditional food, you may not be able to serve it on the Lusania. And that's where you have to know, how do you come to design and provide a service that is best suiting to your customers? Those who want traditional food, soup, gravy, and whatever, will not come to this nature of the fast, easy food. They'll go somewhere. Those who want the grilled kind of dry, they'll come here. Those who may want organic or healthy may come here. So you need to understand your market very, very clearly, but that is very, very key. I see your hand, Kong, but I want to go to the second question. It was about the empathy. What was it? Get me back afresh to that. What was the empathy about? How do they present their business?
I realize there are several scenarios that I've seen where musicians want maybe to do a show. Then at a point in time, this person in the news, you see that the person has been beaten or the person has streamed naked. Then after a while, you see the person is organizing a show and is calling up people to go and support the show. Thank you.
Empathy.
Sister, should I add on that one also?
Go ahead.
You take it off. Now, it's the same issue I also having just on the music industry in Uganda. I've left the restaurants ahead. Now, you find there is, now, these days, someone just gets one chorus. He rotates that chorus for almost the entire song. He songs about and then they put some music there. And then and then it does like this. And then you find that is the guy, you find he has a lot of followers. Okay? And then you see, these are the people, there are some whom are not mentioned here, but these people, they know them. When they come to stage, they come when they are naked, totally. You can even see Baghdad. Is that a marketing strategy? Is that a competitive advantage from their fellows? And then you find that people who are singing songs which have meaning, educative, they are not given audience. They will say, or your sister, in Babichi. You know, that kind of. And then the cameo starts, whoa, and then people say, our man, go ahead. So just help me. Is that the way they are trying to market themselves so that they are ahead of the rest? Oh, it's just
Yes,
a
what do you
competitive
think,
advantage.
Francis?
I submit, sister.
Thank you. I want you people to react on this first because I like you. You are bringing real good examples. Can we hear from Mazi, Francis, and then Letitia? Leonard, are you in the same line?
Yes, good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon.
What I have to say about that is that we Ugandans and Africans at large, we want ebyononese. In Uganda, we say twagala nnyo ebyononese. In most cases, nowadays, due to the rampant engagement in social media, people so want following up, or what we call, yes, it's following up. So in most cases, people use the dirty games to market themselves or to create awareness to the society that they are existing. It's even so common in these politicians. You find someone does something dirty in the community, then in the long run, it's that person contesting to be a parliamentarian or any other post. So I will say it's a new strategy people are bringing on board to market themselves, though literally in the long run, it acts negatively towards them. I would say it shouldn't be the right way to go because in most cases, such businesses that have come up in such a way, they usually die easily, other than businesses that were promoted in the right criteria. It has worked for some people, but again, in the long run, they have ended up losing it in a short while. So I wouldn't recommend anyone to take up that bad act of presenting himself or herself naked in the audience just because you want to be followed up, doing dirty games in public. So you want to be elected a parliamentarian or any other post. I wouldn't prefer that. That's my take, sister.
Thank you, Francis. Letitia, then Susan.
Good afternoon, sister. Good afternoon, class. Thank you. I think in my thinking, it goes to about 3 points. One, technology. Technology has changed so many things where it is so visual. People make choices according to what they see. Because when you look at the music industry way back, which we are looking at, there used to be those songs that would take so many minutes, and we never used to have technology helping us to view like the videos and those things. But now technology is engaging people. Someone can be working and at the same time listening to music or watching something. So the consumers have tended to look at what can I do so many things at a go. We are not comprehensive anymore as the consumers. We just want to do things fast. And maybe more to that, there is a person who was asking, why are people having stunts to have shows? First of all, technology has become, it helps you do business a cheap way. You don't have to do a lot of advertisement like it used to be those days for the shows. But at the same time, we shouldn't let the ethics down. We shouldn't let the morality down, because at the end of the day, it's not self-sustaining. So we cannot say we are taking on a competitive advantage, leaving morality down, because we won't have going on for a long time. But at the same time, there are industries like music, then the film industry. You see that people are turning from films which are educative to pornography to sexual scenes in the different films to be able to attract people. So we shouldn't forget that technology has its advantages, but at the same time, it turns down morality. And we are African, we are in this. As you do business, still think about the state, the different generations that are going to come after you. If it's Letitia today promoting music that way, I have children, still people, when my children come out to speak, I don't think all people will be comfortable coming to my business knowing that I actually did promote my business that way. I can maybe give an example of the Europeans, like the Americans. We've seen the Kardashian family doing that, and they are getting successful, and even their line down is getting successful like that. But then when you look at our trend here, we shall still stay Africans. Much as you want to do business the way you want, immorally, it won't be self-sustaining. So I wouldn't support such a competitive advantage anyway. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan, you have something different? Or you are the one? No, that was Letitia. Susan, you have something different? Or I come in?
Yes.
Machiel. Summarize. Machiel, please unmute.
Yes, sister. I also have an issue, which is a go between marketing and ethics. I don't know what your take would be on it.
Can we finish the first one? Or that is in line with what?
Yes, it is in line, sister.
Okay, go ahead.
In ethics, we are expected to speak the truth and only the truth. But now you find in marketing, somebody is saying when you put this spice in your beans, they will taste like chicken and things like that. And yet the primary aim of a business is to make profit. So how should we strike a balance between ethics and then marketing in a bid to make profit?
All right, thank you very much. Members, I really appreciate what you're bringing on the table, because it is what makes meaning when it comes to learning. You have brought very good examples with a focus on the entertainment industry, music and entertainment, where you have realized that the trend which is happening is totally out of the norm. Because when you are looking at the industry in Uganda as compared to other, in the industry at large, it's not just Uganda, it is globally. So comparing what Uganda's industry in relation to music and entertainment, you have observed some obscene things that are taking place. And when you observe such things, I think Rita started by saying people are appealing to empathy. They are trying to bring themselves back into the business by trying to say, please have mercy on me, much as this went wrong. But are they really true to what they're saying, or they're trying to manipulate people to support them? That is where integrity comes in when you are doing business, and ethics comes in when you are doing business. And if what you are doing is not in line with what is the procedures or what is acceptable in that sector, then you are trying to create your own business to make it look like that is what it should be, but when it is not what it should be. For example, you have given example of those who are dancing naked. I have seen them. I can be on the TV and I change until when I cannot change anymore, then I switch it off. And I'm like, really, this is not me. This is not me. And even you come to block some channels until when you say, do I have need to subscribe to this service provider, or I need to just to go to UBC? So that is where business comes in. Very clearly, Francis and I think Rita made it very, very clear. And I think even when, who was the other person? I think Letitia, they said, you know, it has to be ethical. It has to be right. It has to be according to the society. But when people come out and they're dancing naked, whom are they appealing to? First of all, you have to ask, who is watching the naked person? Is it entertainment? Is it a social, or is it a business? And if it is a business, is it sustainable? How long are they going to be doing that kind of entertainment, and they will come to the market? Because if it is sustainable, is that going to attract the same number of the people and the same sales that you may want? You have heard of those people who organize and say, we are going to have a chief who this and this and this. And they said, I say, oh, that one really failed. This one really worked. This one was this. That's where it will either be a project, but it's not a business. They have come up to do something just to get money, but they are not going to every time doing the same kind of thing. So when we are looking at the business, we have to think about its operation for the long term, for its legality, or for its standards. Now, when you are looking at these people who are doing naked shows, they have a certain class they are trying to appeal to, and you realize that class which goes and be entertained, it's a class which may be even looking for pornography, but that is not generally acceptable. And that's where you have to think of what is the social values, or what is the social cultural aspect of our society today. Do we have those standards which control the operations of the business that we see? Because even there was a time when the government, I think there was a ministry which came and said, don't bring in children. Ages between this and this should not come into this show, because it could say everybody and the parents, the children, the family go with their children. And what comes out on the stage, it's like seeing a mother and a dad in the bed. And you're like saying, is this business or it is obscene? So my friend, I think when you're talking of competitive edge, advantage, and we are talking of business, try to understand business in a business perspective. Don't try to look at this kind of model. Don't try to look at this kind of projects. Don't try to look at those people who are trying to set up their own makeup, and they are not going to be in existence 2, 3, 4, 5 years to come, because they are just coming up with business projects, business ideas, or ideas which they think, but they are not sustainable. And that's why not every idea can turn into a realistic business. How do you measure? They measure this one person. Today, you have made a lot of money, but after that money has gone out of the pocket, what next? But also you have to question our government. The society has gone so wild. The technology has ruined the values of the society to make us feel like everything is open to the public. We don't know where to start. We don't know where to end. Instead of talking things which matter to help us and the next generation, they are talking of things which are pulling out money out of the people. They're not even helping. Why has AIDS has come to be growing further and further, instead of telling, this and this should come to the stop. So I think when we are talking competitive advantage, we have to consider, are you going to expect people who have values in their religion to be seeing naked people? They're not going to be there. And if you're talking of the business and you're trying to attract everybody, regardless of their religion, their age, their class, their education, their social or cultural values, you have to cut across and balance. to know how can you get everybody fit in, so that it makes them feel like, yes, we want to be there. But if it is not, then it is not a competitive edge. It is a kind of game which has come up with a tactic or a technique to attract, but it is not sustainable and it is not business excellence. For business excellence, it has to be measurable. It has to be standard. It has to be ESCO. It has to be according to the acceptable business operation standards. And that's when you have, because I don't think that has to be where it ends. But in Uganda, everything can sell because our consumer behavior, it's just put it there and people will consume because we have data games into our political governance and everything. So I want you, when you are looking at a competitive advantage, think of sustenance, think of excellence, and think of what's socially acceptable. Then you will be able to tap into the demographics of the different people that you want to engage. But if you are looking at a smaller focus, know how best that can be sustainable and how best you can bring it up, okay? Otherwise, we are not going to be entertaining naked. That's the best I can put on you. So, we have discussed the competitive advantage. We have also to talk about the mission. They're telling us here Johan's Organic Pork Joint is a new kiosk that serves the highest quality pork hamburgers to hungry and health-conscious customers in Impigi Town. And if he does so, what is his mission? Are you hungry already? Because I'm talking of hamburger. What's the mission of this guy? Why do you have to have a mission when you're writing a business? Yes, Winnie.
The mission statement for Johan's Pork Joint is to serve pork hamburgers to hungry and healthy conscious customers in PG Town.
That is a mission statement. So the purpose of this business is to provide quality, that is key, highest quality, and it has to focus on hungry, not anybody, and those who are health conscious customers. So there has to be value, there has to be a reason as to why you do it, and it has to be satisfied. So you have to have a clear purpose as to why you are starting a business. It has to tell the readers why your business exists. It has to show the motivation why you are starting the business, and it has to be briefly talking about your product or services in relation to what makes your business unique. That is a mission statement. In other words, you need to clearly describe your business, describe your mission statement, state your objectives and goals clearly, okay? Then you need to have a management team. A management team is a group responsible for leading and overseeing the organization operations. This team includes senior executives with specific areas of responsibility such as finance and operation, marketing, and human resources, and they must be balanced. Why? They're telling us we need a management team. They can oversee those kind of activities in relation to the business operation, but they're telling us they should be in line to achieve the goal, and that requires a balanced team. What does that mean? Hello. Are you sleeping? What do you mean by balanced team when we're talking about management? What do you see in management? Is it balanced where you are? How does it balance?
I think, sister, the question is not clear. When we say balance, are we referring in terms of gender balance, or I think it's not
You talk
clear.
it from the perspective you understand it. What does balance mean? When they say balance checks, balance the accounts, balance, what does it mean when we're talking about management? You have already brought the gender balance. Why is that important?
Okay, so for me, when we say having a balanced management, we are looking at the perspective of gender, which is really a global push to make sure that everyone is provided an opportunity to lead an organization. And of course, to some of us that have led organizations, when you have a well-balanced team in terms of the different genders on your team, there's a way discussions flow, and the perspectives are really different, and you're able to make very informed decisions as opposed to having just one gender dominating the team, you know? Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. I think you have already got the ice cleared. How are others thinking about it? Gender is very key because when you're talking about diversity, that is very, very important in regards to a decision-making. Victor.
Thank you, sister. I think the other balance is on the age group, the composition of the age group, because you need continuity. If you have, say, for example, the senior citizens in your management, at a certain point, you're going to have a vacuum. You will not have people replacing them. And of course, they go with the institutional memory if they retire. So you need a bit of balance in terms of the composition at that level, in that perspective.
Thank you very much. He has raised the succession plan in relation to sustainability of the organization. Letitia and then Susan.
Thank you, sister. Balanced in terms of different people having different personal traits, ranging from flexible, they are flexible, others are rigid, and being able to respect each other and the different opinions of the different departments or different disciplines where they come from.
Excellent. Well said. Different theology, ideas, different approach, different education, all that matters when it comes to the organization management. Next, we have Susan and then Naiga.
Yes, good afternoon, members. Yeah, since many people have talked about balances of different types, I'll talk about balance of tribes or ethnic groups. You know, in Uganda, we have different ethnic groups. So in case maybe it's a big organization and it has different people, so we would need to balance the different tribes on the management team. Like where I work from, since we cover the whole country, we have an ED who is a Mnyoro, we have HR who is a Mnyankole, we have manager HR who is a Msoga, we have an ITESOT in finance. So we have to balance them according to the region, since different regions have different perspective of looking at things. So we need all their perspectives in order to come up with a better management team. Thank you.
Very good said. Stated in regard to diversity, because if you have all the same from different, from the same family, from the same clan, from the same school, from the same whatever, you are going to end up having your what? Your colony there. So it is very, very important to bring in uniqueness in relation to what the organization is doing. Value. Are we done with everybody? Who's
Not
done?
yet, sister. You
Okay,
had
please.
said that I would be next. Good
Go
afternoon,
ahead.
sister, and good afternoon, managers. For the sake of gender, it brings in enhanced creativity and innovation, because when you have a gender diverse team, it tends to be more creative and innovative. So that may involve individuals from different backgrounds and perspectives. They collaborate well together. They can generate a wider array of ideas and solutions, which can foster a culture of innovation within the organization. That is what I needed to say.
Well said. I don't need even to add on. When you bring that into a perspective, how the men look at things is not the way how the female will think. We think differently, we act differently, work differently, much as we all manage. It's very, very important to look at management in that aspect and to respect the gender perspective when you are looking out to organize or structure the management team. All right, so that is very, very key. So if you are looking at balancing, you can take it as far as you want, because you are looking at the different tasks that they have to do. So you are all very, very clear. I know you come from different either disciplines, but you end up in MBA. What are some of all the major functions of managers? Because you're not just going to get the gender, you are not just going to get different age, you are not just going to look at the traits. What are they supposed to do? I know it has come to lunchtime, but I want to get this where we can pick it from when we come back.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
please. Let's hear from Luvinga, then we go to Naiga.
Thank you so much, sister. Good afternoon, sister.
Good
And good afternoon, managers. I think the major functions of management will involve planning, will involve organizing, coordinating, leading, controlling the activities of the organizations, of the different functions where they are attached. To sum it up all, that is what I think I submit, as well as controlling.
Thank you. Naiga, do you have anything to add on?
Yes, sister.
Go ahead.
Managers are responsible for making decisions that impact the organization's operations, resources, outcomes, and yeah, basically they help with deciding on the course of action, selecting the best options that are available, depending on the organization's goals and constraints, effective decision-making, and this requires critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and sound judgment. That is what I needed to say.
Thank you. Proscovia?
Thank you, sister. I also just wanted to add one point of communication. Management helps to facilitate communication within the organization, in that it ensures that there is a good flow of information that is effective between the different departments. And also it involves including disseminating goals and objectives, sharing feedback and updates, helping in resolving conflicts, and ensuring that there is an open dialogue that promotes transparency and collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. John Bosco.
Yes, I want to add one key thing that has not been said. That is the risk management, identifying any risks affecting the organizations, and then trying to put in place the mitigations. Then also the aspect of the innovation, because the management brings on board the new ideas. There are some which are not done formally, like you do through market intelligence, and then you innovate new ideas which can form policies, and then eventually they go into the the planning process.
Thank you. Very, very good. I like it because you have broadened it. You have moved it from the generic approach or look at management, and you brought it into the operation perspective. Because when you are looking at the generic approach of the tasks and whatever, we generally hint planning, organization, coordinating, leading, controlling, decision making, and we leave it there so flat. But in reality, when you are designing your management team, you need to go further. Because when you're planning, what are you planning? You're planning how are goals and objectives going to be set? Who is going to be involved into the decision making so that you're not just putting, we need a marketing manager. You identify a person who will be able to bring in some innovation. A person who will be able to implement the goals and objectives to help the organization be able to achieve what they have said they are going to do. You need to find someone who would be able to coordinate and lead others to make sure that they get the feedback and they are able to improve their performance. When you are looking at the human resource and the employees, you also need to know in controlling, how are we going to manage when there are risks? Those are very, very important. Because sometimes we set this structure and we say we need to fill up this position, but you don't go deep further to think through, why do we need this position as compared to this? Why do we have to take away this position and we only leave this? Maybe historically, that's how it was established. By time passed, do you still need those positions? Or if you need them, what has changed over time that you need different way of management? How do you look at the management in relation to the growth of the organization or the business that you started? How do you determine the effectiveness of the management team that you have in relation to the dynamics of the organization functions? Those are the things that we need to think of. But most of the time we realize that the business is not moving as it is, simply because we know we have managers. We have the operation manager, we have the marketing manager, we have the controller manager, we have the whatever manager, and the titles sound so good, but are they relevant? Are they applicable? How do they apply what the titles say in relation to what their functions or their responsibilities are? How do you measure and make sure that performance is taking place? This is the key. So when you're designing your business, when you're looking at improving your business, you need to analyze this, and you analyze it in the way of the SWOT analysis aspect. What is the strength that you have in relation to the people that you're bringing on board? What do they have to bring to your business? Do they have some weakness? How do you plan to improve on their performance to develop their capacity? And in case that person dies or is incapacitated, what plan do you have to make sure that there is continuity in an organization? And suppose you realize that another company and this person goes away or whatever, what opportunities do you have to make sure that still the business operates? That's where you have to think through as you design your organization, as you set the team, as you design the job description, the risks, the innovation, the culture, the decision-making, all other factors have to put into perspective so that you have a team which is not just looking so good, but which is aligned and balanced to make sure that they are performing according to the expectations of the what? Of the organization. That's what it means, okay? So basically, you know everything that they're supposed to do. They have to make sure that they give a strategic direction. They have to be visionary. And that has to be based on the goals and the decisions. They have to understand what are the resources available, how to tap money and make money for the business, how to tap the resources of the people into the organization and be able to maximize their performance. The operation, do they understand? Why I'm saying this is because there is a section on your business plan which has to talk about the management team. Please don't just say, I'll be the manager. What qualifies you to be a manager? I asked one who is going into the app of the app of the motorcycles. What qualifies, makes you the right person to do that business? You have to ask that and be able to describe or explain it clearly. And as you do all that thing, you have to ensure that the culture that you are setting or the structure that you are setting is in line to make sure they are going to be innovation and continuity. And all that cannot be done unless you have the right people in the right seat at the right time. You have seen businesses in crisis every day. You have seen businesses, you have seen managers fighting. They don't fight real kicks as you see those who are fighting live, but they are fighting. Have you seen them fighting there? Or do you see the fights which go between management or within the management system?
Yes, we do.
Your experience, what effect does it have when it comes to the business or the organization? And what causes those fights?
Operations are stifled. Then, in my experience, it was mostly about implementation, okay, the way work is executed in terms of policy, alignment, and things like that. That's why the fights were there.
And was there a better approach on how to manage the crisis?
Now it depends on how those ones were resolved. In the end, they usually came in top management, like the executive director had to change like the managers, like the local managers here from the group, they had to change the managers here to change to realign a few processes here and there. That's what I saw.
Okay. So you realize that in most times when there is this kind of management in a crisis comes in simply because they are not aligned, simply because there are differences. Differences are good and disagreements are good, but disagreements on what and how is important. Is it for the purpose of the business or the purpose of the individual? Usually the quick fix is to change. Let's change the person. Let's change the job. Let's change whatever. But by changing, as a matter of changing, may not resolve the problem. Because the person you're changing, again, you're creating opportunity for another organization to take on maybe a better person, and you have lost the resource you have invested in this person. So it is better to establish a culture that can help people to know as they come in, how best can you tap into them and maximize to ensure continuity and improvement of an organization. And all that starts with how you set your team. How do you recruit them? How do you train and develop employees is very, very key. And that is the leadership. If you don't have you don't have the plan for, you only have the plan for recruitment. You recruit, you position them there, but there is no plan for professional or capacity development. That can be a problem. People work until when they can't work anymore. They have lost the sense of meaning. They don't have a sense of direction. You forget that they also come with their goals and objectives, but none of what they come with has been achieved. I was listening to the news yesterday, and I understand that for Makerere, they have been getting a different salary, and yet they are all government employees, whereas those in Chambogo and other universities, they have different salaries. And this team of Makerere said, no, enough is enough. Why are these not fairly treated as compared to others? We need to do something. This is what it is. It is management. How do you perceive the team you have on board that helps you achieve your goals and objectives? Do you value them as you value what you get in the business? Or you are just putting them there and you say, well, they have nowhere to go. They only belong. Please. So this is what they're telling you, what you have been saying, innovation, tap into and know how to get that. So let's stop here for now. When we come briefly, we shall talk about organization structure and then get into your presentations for the theories that you did. Let's go for lunch and be back at 2, okay? Or we come back at 1:30. What do you think?
2.
I know you are going to say at 2. Thank you. Okay, so come prepared. I'll take you briefly into the organization structure, and then we shall be able to get into your discussions for the theories. So make sure you are prepared so that you can get done today. Thank you very much. Have a good lunch.
Lunch.
Thank you, sister. Good lunch too.
Thank you.